Once upon a time, deep within a dense forest, there lived a strong and fearless wolf named Kale. He was once the leader of his pack, known for his sharp instincts and unbreakable spirit. However, as the years passed, Kale grew old and younger. Stronger wolves began to take his place. One harsh winter, the pack decided that Kale was no longer useful. They saw him as a burden, unable to hunt as swiftly as before. So, one night, the pack's new leader ordered that Kale be left behind as the wolves moved on to new territory. Kale awoke to find himself abandoned, alone, and weak with hunger. He howled in sorrow, but no one came back for him. Determined not to give up, Kale limped through the cold, searching for food. His legs ached, and his vision blurred, but he refused to accept defeat. For days, he wandered, facing the unforgiving wilderness. The cold winds bit at his fur, and starvation made him dizzy, but Kale pushed forward. One day, he stumbled upon a deep, rocky pit hidden beneath the snow. Weakened and unaware, Kale fell in, landing hard against the jagged stones below. Pain surged through his body, and for the first time, he felt truly helpless. He tried to climb, but the walls were too steep and covered in ice. Hours passed, and Kale lay there, feeling the weight of his fate pressing upon him. So this is how my story ends, he thought. His heart ached, not from the pain, but from the betrayal of those he once called his family. But just as despair began to take over, a small, determined fire ignited inside him. He refused to let this be his final moment. He refused to let the world decide his worth. Kale studied the pit carefully, each stone, each crack, each ledge. He memorized them. Then, with every ounce of strength left in him, he used his claws to grip the walls and climb. Each attempt was painful, and each slip made him want to give up. But he refused. Every time he fell, he learned. Every time he slipped, he adjusted. He did not allow the fall to define him. Instead, he used it to grow stronger. Finally, after hours of struggle, Kale reached the top. He pulled himself out, gasping for air, his legs trembling. But he had done it. He had escaped, not just from the pit, but from the idea that he was no longer strong, no longer valuable. As the days passed, Kale regained his strength. He hunted again, learned new ways to survive, and adapted to his lone existence. He was no longer the leader of a pack, but he was still a warrior. Soon, other lone wolves saw his strength and wisdom, choosing to follow him. Kale had formed a new pack, not of those who abandoned him, but of those who respected his resilience and spirit. He had proven that worth is not determined by age or the opinions of others. It is determined by the fire within, the refusal to surrender, and the ability to rise even when the world tries to bury you. Moral of the story: just like Kale, we all face moments where the world seems to cast us aside, where we feel forgotten or unworthy. But true strength lies in how we respond when life throws challenges at us. We can let them bury us, or we can use them as steps to rise. Our value is not determined by others. It is determined by our will to keep moving forward. Never let anyone decide your worth. Prove it by refusing to give up.